right, we'll call the May 6th committee meeting to order at 6:30. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Jost, Alderman Amundson, Alderman Greiner, Alderman Neuhaus.
I'm here.
Thank you. Alderman Babb.
There.
Wonderful. Alderman Newman.
Here.
Maybe.
Also present, Clerk Steele, Treasurer Warren, Deputy Clerk Fogel, Street Superintendent Smith, Police Chief Merritt, Building Inspector Dearborn, and Attorney Herman. Under my report, I am requesting a exec for personnel. No action. Should be, 10 minutes tops. That's all I can think of for right now. Clerk, what do you got?
I have nothing other than PM will be starting in the office tomorrow. So, I think that's it.
Go ahead with the communications.
Okay. I have bids for the trucks out in the front. I have 3.
Yay. Which trucks?
This is 318. Yep. To whom it may concern, I would like to place a bid for the 2001 Chevy Silverado with 83,227 miles, lot number 10318, in the amount of $1,530. Glen Ogle. And on that truck as well, I have a bid for $1,850 to a Doug Trotwell. I apologize for butchering that name. Krautwald. So that one would go to Doug,
I bid.
the highest bid. And then only one bid for the 319. To Doug as well for $2,200.
All right.
Okay.
So can we put on the agenda at the next meeting to approve and accept both high bids on 318 and 319?
You're gonna reach out to them.
Yep.
That's good.
Okay.
2,200 and 1850?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like washing a squad car.
Any other communications?
None.
Mr. Treasurer.
I had a couple questions, but they were already answered for me. I guess I have nothing.
All right. Mr. Attorney.
Thanks for having me. I have no report.
Mr. Inspector.
No report.
Okay. Reports to standing committees, water and sewer.
The meters we discussed came in. Tim was able to get them installed so we can have the resets on both lift stations. Everything's functioning properly. We were able to take care of that all in-house.
Good news.
We also hired, well, that's streets though, isn't it? So we also hired a full-time street employee. When's he start?
Next week sometime.
Next week. Had to give 2 weeks break, to his.
So the 20th, he started.
Starts on the 20th.
Starts on the 25th.
He was doing landscaping.
Landscape labor, so.
Good. Okay.
Is there anything else, Mark? Oh, I got one other thing. I'm going to be diving into the water rate ordinance. Had a candid conversation with a gentleman that lives out beyond town. I want to look at the ordinance in respects to the infrastructure costs that the city has beyond our city limits. I want to, and I may reach out to Josh to see if it would be worth us having a non-resident infrastructure fee to help offset city costs from everything beyond city limits, since I know they pay a higher rate, but the amount of
Does it cover
infrastructure,
all that
the amount of
maintenance?
infrastructure we have to get there, the Briarwood station and beyond, with the amount of usage that's out there, I don't think our 200% is covering or offsetting the cost if we have to do major infrastructure repairs. So, maybe a non-resident fee added to.
Especially with the
non-resident
current costs.
current cost to replace that infrastructure. We had to put a main out there or a shut off out there recently, and we've had work at Briarwood, so I wanna know that we're at least capturing that cost from that water consumption.
Could we go back and assess them at cost of the pump and the?
I don't think without having it in the ordinance, I don't think so. But I at least want to have something in place where they can be paying a monthly fee
Yeah.
that would go into a coffer that could pay infrastructure costs going that direction.
Okay.
So, other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Law enforcement.
I thought the garage doors were coming today, but it will be this week. I think I thought it was the 6th to the 8th they were gonna be here to install those. So it'll be nice to have those on. Outside, I got nothing. I need an exec if someone needs to call
Yeah.
out me to discuss personnel.
Personnel times 2.
Gotcha.
Okay. Streets. Tim, you got anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
George Merkel called today. IDOT wants him to put up those 2 storm drains back up for bid again. And it's set up for the 21st at 10 a.m. of this month.
Okay.
What 2 storm drains are those?
The address is on this one.
123 Douglas and 1205 Lincoln.
I'm sorry, 123 Douglas,
Yes,
and what else?
1205 Lincoln.
Okay, thank you.
Opening the bids on 21st.
Accepting bid, yeah. Like we did before, come in here and sit.
Yep.
Where, are they advertising that, or are we
No,
advertising?
George is.
He's advertising, okay.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
That's it.
And they're getting ready to start the bridge.
Supposed to. Everything's marked.
Yep. They
George,
got signs down there. Go ahead.
Did George ever get back to you on this week?
Never did hear back from George.
Okay.
I'll just call him. And then I'll send out an email.
Great. Yep.
Anything for parks and buildings?
No, trying to keep it mowed with all this rain. And the leaves were blown away from the fence.
They did get the ramp repaired.
Yes, the ramp was repaired and they're putting in the air conditioner tomorrow.
We had a little bee situation.
Yeah, they'll be taken care of.
Had about 3,000 bees.
Oh.
Yep, the beekeeper was happy.
Oh, yeah. Didn't cost us anything, so. And made him very, very happy.
Yeah.
So, it's good. Okay. Anything else on that?
No.
We have nobody for fire.
Make some stuff up.
The only thing that I know for fire is that they're having another, fundraiser at La Gondola in Pekin on, I believe, Wednesday.
Can we start reaching out to the Bartonville one?
So.
Halfway closer? What's better?
Other than that, that's,
Better food?
that's the
On
only thing
Wednesday,
that
so
they,
May 8th.
yes.
Is that like from 4 to 7? 4 to
48.
4 to 7?
Sure. Shouldn't have like shared it. She did too. Okay, good. We will share it. I'll get you the times. It is from 4 to 7 on the 8th. Log on to Olympic. 20% of sales will be donated to our fire department. So, it's great. And I believe they're having another one next month and one in July also.
Let's sit on the edge of it. We need to remove this chair.
No, that's the one we sent you.
You can do it, right?
No, but you sit back and you fall backwards.
Don't sit back. Keep you on your toes. Okay. Planning.
I put the salary resolution in everybody's box. Anybody got any comments or corrections or? I think the change were red, I think. Well, I guess not. It was light color.
Well, if they're in red, we got problems.
Not red, it was dark color. Light color. Supposed to be red.
Okay.
Anyway. Comments, corrections? The only changes
A part-time employee is at $15 a year
well, where's that at?
down here in the street department.
Yeah, that'd probably be.
Yeah, that would make it, would it?
Well,
I
that
tell
would
you,
be all right.
if you can, well,
You
that,
did your budget.
all of them have year on it,
They do. Yeah, that's my, I didn't do any of that. That was my first one.
so they all need to be changed to.
Some of them are salaried and some of
Yeah,
them
some of them
are.
Right,
yeah,
yep.
or should be hour, so it should be hourly, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I can fix that for sure.
Let's say, if we can get someone to do that, that'd be great.
So I'll fix that and put it in the agenda for next week.
Anybody have any questions on it? No? Okay, thank you, Ron.
Yep.
What else?
That's it for now.
Under, since we have Josh here.
And what?
Exec for property, Sunny Fresh Real Estate.
Oh,
Sure.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What you said?
An additional exec for the
Yes.
purpose of setting the
Oh.
price of real estate for sale.
Okay. I don't know anything about that.
Just see if he has an update from
Oh.
our last conversation.
Gotcha.
There's no need for that
Oh, okay.
executive session. I was aiming for the next regular
Okay.
meeting, so I don't have the answer I
Okay.
think you're looking for.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, wait a minute. Let's have the meeting anyway, so we can converse.
Okay, because
Okay.
you gave us a different route, so.
Right.
So, let's just have an example.
Let's announce that as one of the bases for going in, so we can talk about it if there's something to talk.
Wonderful. Okay? All right. Any other business pertaining to the city?
I would like to ask if the city would be interested, or I am interested in helping the park situation for the fact of having fewer employees and time to go in and trim trees,
Okay.
if that is acceptable with the city. I'll use my own equipment, no power equipment.
That is something we would
Have
definitely
to
have
ask
to
the
check.
insurance company.
Yep, we would have to check with the insurance.
Yep.
Josh, is there any,
I'd be volunteering my time, not,
That's the most crucial thing. You can't, as an elected official, you can't be paid by the municipality more than the
Right.
municipality set aside. So volunteer's fine. It directly relates to risk management and acceptance of the proposal by the rest of the council.
okay,
You gonna trim trees where?
in the parks and the streets.
Okay.
About 80% of our trees need some type of attention.
Okay.
I can always get an application for you though.
You definitely have to resign his councils.
One or the other.
so, Can you reach out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay. And then when we find out, we'll go from there. Okay. Any other business pertaining to the city?
Men's Club is here to discuss the lease, is that correct?
Okay.
Okay,
So as of now, we are looking for a year-round access to expand the lease area to the area that was in the potential purchase space that was earlier brought up, and to renew them for an additional 20-year lease. The reason we asked for this is so we can reduce the amount of times we have to visit the council meeting to ask for trees to be cleared up, or for us to spread mulch, and in general to try to keep the area maintained better. We do not intend on cutting down any healthy trees. Expanding the lease area would allow us to put in underground infrastructure before the season starts, such as air lines, and run electrical from the house to various spots in the woods for the use of the outdoor area. The club would also like to get 10 to 20 foot shipping containers to help store the items that we use in the haunted trail to better keep the area maintained and give the whole location a cleaner look. And
how many containers? How many containers?
Did you say 10, 20 foot ones
No.
or 10 foot to 20 foot?
10 foot to 20 foot
Just
trailers.
No.
Well, each location, depending on how much stuff they have, that way it's easier to pack everything up and leave it clean. So, how many spots we got outside right now?
I think there's 7 to 8 spots.
One's already got a container.
Yeah, one's already got a container that we moved back up closer to the buildings
Most of them would probably be 10 foot containers.
to 20 foot max.
The max would be raised because of this spot.
Would they be moved or would they stay stationary?
Well, if we could expand our lease out into the woods, it'd be nice if we could leave it
Stationary.
on location. That way we have all the wiring is now underground, no trip hazards, nothing to worry about. Chance somebody get shot.
How does that work,
Last for
Josh?
kids
I
to
know
mess
we
with.
have a ordinance against temporary structures already on the books. And that would essentially be a temporary structure.
If it would meet the definition, then the ordinance would apply unless as some part of the lease, you could certainly give exception under the lease with respect to application of a particular section of code, maybe for a limited period of time. During this season, this date to this date, when it's traditional to do mulching, maybe you allow it. But outside of that, they otherwise have to comply. Or you do nothing and the ordinance as it stands continues.
Because I know, like I said, I know we have one for temporary structures
Mhm.
that prohibits temporary structures.
If you look at exhibit A that I put in there as part of the lease, that's what they're asking for, the size of it.
All that property behind,
Yeah, that's what we looked at before.
currently, there's 2 shipping containers that are on outside the leased area that you've got now. And that's been there for 6 months. How did that arise without getting permission?
I think that's when they unloaded them, that's where they stuck them at. And then we have to get bigger equipment ourselves to move them.
Where are they at, Bob?
Huh?
Where are they at, behind the shed or?
Yeah, they're back
Behind the
here.
building,
Behind the
right there in the
building?
Yeah.
gravel.
Okay, in the back, okay.
They're behind the building.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, it's not in the woods, it's in the gravel
It's in
area.
a rocked area.
Okay.
That's why we want to expand a little bit, so.
So with the proposed area that takes that all the way out, how much of that is in the bike path, the trail that goes through there?
Bike trail, None of it.
Yeah, no,
There's a line there, I don't know if you can see it.
I can see the line.
Okay.
But the bike trail that runs through the woods doesn't come, Pampas Trail does not come through any part of this.
No.
I think you're wrong.
I don't think it
Because
does.
when I was,
if it does now, they made that trail because,
when I was set up years ago on the east side of the building, they used to come right up to the back of my area.
Yeah.
Because they came through many times at night with a light.
Right.
When I had an area set up in Spook Hollow.
Yeah.
Many times at night, there was a bike that came
Well,
through.
we marked that months ago. We
It
marked it
may,
inside the bike line.
I don't think there's a trail that comes into that area.
No.
I just,
It may come
it was-
very close to it, but I don't think it
it's
comes
close to
into
it, but it's not thick.
yeah, there may be only 10 or 15 foot difference, but,
Okay.
and I don't know about the far back,
are you talking over in the cemetery
Right
area?
in here.
no, the other side,
It was
So
in
over
here.
by Ray's.
over by Ray's.
Because there's a bridge here.
When
Yeah,
it,
there's
when
no
it drops
bike,
over,
Okay, yeah.
there's a trail there and there's a little
Yeah.
bridge.
On the opposite side of that
Yeah.
ravine?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It goes over that ravine, because I used to set up right back to the back side.
Yeah, it comes on this side of the ravine, or the building side of the ravine.
It may come to that right. If you're looking at the picture, the top right of the yellow and black line drawn in, there might be a path that comes in there because that is a ravine. That's a hole that runs that dark spot right there. And I know there is a trail that comes alongside that.
They built a
ravine.
bridge, they built a bridge across.
Well, there's a walk path that comes along that.
Way back.
The west side of that ravine, to the left side of that ravine right there, and comes back around and out, behind the diamond floor.
Across down through here.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is.
Yeah, 'cause you can see it right from here and just walking.
Yep, right.
So there is something back in there.
Now, whether that's the bike trail or path that people have put in there, I know I've come up that trail before. From the bike path.
I mean, we can make it smaller, can't make it any bigger, but we can make it smaller if you want. And you're talking about a lease, right?
Yes.
I took the liberty of, all those things that he talked about, Nate sent me. And instead of container, he said shed, so shed's in the red ink. And I can change that to whatever, but, I'm calling that new 5.7 acres as Spook Hollow area. Just to define that area.
Oh, okay.
You know what it is. Then that Article 2, some of that is talking about storage building construction. We've already done all that, so we can delete that stuff.
2.2, you mean?
Yeah, 2.2.
I would think that would want to stay in there so we know, understand
The history of it.
the history.
Whatever you wanna do.
For future references.
Okay, whatever you want.
Yeah, because you're not going to write up a
Eliminate.
whole new one, you're just gonna add to it, so therefore,
I can leave that
probably
in.
wanna leave that in, like,
Wanna leave all
so
that?
there is,
Okay, history, all right.
yeah.
Okay.
Out of the stuff that you received from the council side of
It's
recommendations.
in there, keep going. Where's there? Article 3.
I see 3237.
3.2. Article 3.2.
Okay.
That's the,
Does Josh have a copy of this?
yes.
Do I?
Should put one in a basket.
Ah, not yet. That's the answer.
Just in case there was anything that was.
There you
Oh, all right.
I have one now.
go. There you go.
I'll get the revised version.
3.2 is input from the council.
Mhm.
You want a copy of this, don't you?
Yeah, I don't have a copy.
You don't, okay.
Here, I can,
And then, 3.4, let me get my glasses, where they at? They would like access to the property for 12 months, is that right?
it's just math.
Yes.
Okay, that came from the men's club. 3.6,
Okay, so I don't like that,
okay, I'm just,
because that contradicts an existing lease we have. We're
Well,
gonna have to, we're gonna have to fix the verbiage in 3.4.
I know, that's what I'm
Because
saying.
it just says Independence Park, it doesn't say
Spook Hollow area.
Spook Hollow
Right,
area.
okay. Right.
We don't clearly define what
Right,
they're getting access
yeah,
to. That's access to the entire park.
Right, it'd have
Yeah.
to be
access to the, okay,
defined.
all right. Spook Hollow. Area, okay.
It's up here.
And 3.6A, they want a March to May cleanup.
So what,
I don't know, that's just,
What,
I gave me,
the way I read this, that means that when they walk away from it in October, they don't have to come back until March and clean up what they left all winter.
Yeah, but we will, no, I
No.
mean, it's supposed to be cleaned up as soon as we're done. I know some areas aren't as good as others, and we gotta get better at that. And I think that's where the storage containers will help
So
out
we
a
can get
lot,
everything in it.
where their stuff will go in their container, and there's no reason why there's a mess. I mean,
so you wanna leave it the way it is then?
I think you should take the March and May out.
That's what he gave
That,
me.
that just don't make sense.
I know,
yeah.
but I just put it in what he
You
gave
know,
me.
that,
I mean,
March and May would more be like time we start chipping and stuff, you know.
right,
Yeah, so I
That
don't
kind
know
of
where.
typically
activities,
it's been September, but.
Right,
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 but as chips come in, we can,
because we try
More
to,
areas.
we try to clean that up as
Okay.
fast as we
2.6.
can.
But there's nothing here saying that you guys, that this men's club's gonna have the park back in serviceable condition,
By date.
yeah, by a date at all. You know, like
so.
the end
has
of
it-
November or something,
Has it never been that way then? Has it never stated that way? Is that what you're saying?
I don't
So-
remember.
So you think mostly it was on
I thought it was
In there
spelled
somewhere.
out.
I thought it was November, because we've always fought to get it done by the end of November.
right, because it was like, as soon as it was over.
Well, I
you
know a
had
few
to-
times the weather got bad and Ray was out there in
Right.
December, you know, because he couldn't get everything
Well,
done.
I thought there was.
And I'd really like, because once December shows up, the weather's bad enough.
Well, I know,
that-
that's what I'm
That
saying.
you don't wanna be out there.
That's why the difference of the containers will make,
There used to be a clause that everything that was outside needed to be put inside and
Yes.
thrown away.
Right, or
So
inside
there
the
was a clause
fence.
in there and there was a time frame.
Yeah, yeah, if
There
I
was a
remember, I
fence
thought it was
Yeah.
like within 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks after.
Correct, after the.
Season was
Season
over.
was
In the
over.
beginning.
yeah,
The original lease.
yeah.
That everything be in the fence? Be protected from,
Trying to see what it's in here somewhere.
3/7, oh, you're looking for the timeframe?
Yeah.
It's 2 calendar weeks following Halloween to
There you
set
go.
up, tear down,
There it
operate,
is.
remove displays.
What paragraph is that?
3/4.
3/4? Okay.
Oh, okay. yeah.
2 following weeks, 2 weeks after Spook Hollow,
Yeah.
After Halloween.
after Halloween, yeah.
yeah,
Just like Dana said.
Is that enough time?
I mean, that's how we used to do it.
I don't think it's enough time, because we've got a lot bigger, we've got back there, we've got a few more areas.
So, clean up and store away before December 1st.
Or at least by the end of November.
Yeah. I mean,
You saying you want it before December?
Oh,
Yeah, I would
I'd
say
say
by,
before December, yeah.
yeah, the end of November has gotta be clean.
So what do you wanting to change it to, Ron?
The 2 weeks, take the 2 weeks out of there, put before December.
Before December 1st?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
that basically gives you another 2 weeks.
Right, that would.
So are we good with the access for 12 months?
Other than we need to redefine it,
Huh?
because it's access.
Yeah, I know, I'm gonna add that Spoke Hollow area.
Yeah. Because if
Okay.
you look at 3.7, one of the recommendations was anytime anything's done up there,
Yep. 3.7 has
has to be done by building permit.
permits and work orders.
And they still have to have insurance and damage.
Now, when we deal with it, when we deal with the building permit, how are we gonna handle that? Is it gonna be a no-cost permit? Because essentially we own the building, but we're just verifying that work's being properly done and safely done.
How would
Or
that,
does that,
how would that work, Josh?
You could exempt them under the lease, but you need to build it in, otherwise they would go through the same process as anyone else applying for a permit.
just know if modifications are made to any buildings or anything, that everything's being done through a work order process, I'm sorry, a building permit process, that way it's to code. There's nothing being done that's not to code, and
Yeah, if you want to waive the permit fee or any costs associated with it, it's in the lease, it should provide that. It already states they have to get the permits for it, you can just add an extra paragraph that says,
And no cost.
no application fee shall be required for permits obtained under this section.
Because we've done that in
something
the
like
past
this.
already.
what's that? When the
Wait.
initial building was put up, not any of the
Nothing else,
existing
but the
upgrades.
additions and stuff we waived.
Because if they're gonna bore electrical out, bore air out, that all needs to be installed properly, that needs, I mean, it's inspected, know that that's safe. To proper code, proper depth, it's, any electrical upgrades in the building need to be done to code. An electrician doesn't mean code.
No.
Right.
So that's the biggest changes, the rest of it just wordsmithing it, but. So the biggest, change we need to talk about is 3.2.
Deed.
There's still nothing said anything about, any materials left outside of containers or sheds or anything.
That's a cleanup window.
That it
Extending-
would be protected from the general public by a fence or retainer.
The cleanup window is what it's got. They still have to fall within the
So that
guidelines of
means
the
that
cleanup window.
there will not be any loose materials around
That's
for
what-
people to climb on?
If that's what the cleanup window gives them,
Okay.
That's what the containers are for.
that's what the containers are for, the sheds would be for. That would be to contain any materials that,
Well, that's what we need to talk about, how many containers are we gonna let them have? They want, what do you say, 7?
well, that would require a building permit.
Yeah, and that
we
could
have to be-
change.
We have to figure out how we're gonna deal with the ordinance on that, so permit has to be approved if, I mean, it's,
I'm just saying.
we can set the standard on how many sheds we wanna allow by how many permits you permit.
True. Well, I'm just saying,
You could deny the permit.
And we can limit the size and all that.
Who
kind of
oversees
thing.
the permit?
Building inspector.
Office and building inspector.
So, if possible, it makes sense to incorporate the maximum number in the lease. Otherwise, it's almost like a backdoor way to try and regulate through your building inspector. Unless you have authorized him, you can issue so many temporary structures permit throughout the city, and it's first come, first serve. Otherwise, it runs the risk of lending itself to arbitrary decisions.
So can I ask, what are the 7 areas? Are when you say areas, what are the 7 areas?
You got, the mausoleum.
They're out in the woods, though. They're out in the woods.
So
They're not-
each
Yeah.
section of the woods?
Yeah.
Right,
Each
exactly.
stage?
They're not up against the building
Okay,
all lined up,
okay.
no.
No, it's in the,
So it'd be like the cemetery and
Yeah,
raised
right.
area?
They're sitting
and-
there.
Okay,
yeah,
all right. I just wanted to make sure I was
right.
picturing just the wooded area.
Just in being out there, you're talking 10 or 20-foot containers. Some of those areas that you're talking about, how are you gonna get those containers in there without clearing out more trees?
They'll go in there.
Yeah,
A skidster.
cause a lot of like,
A lot of those have
the
the
cemetery's
wheels.
close enough to the gravel, we can get that right in there. My
The
section
skid,
is
the
the
skid
same
steer,
thing.
the skid steer will not move a 20-foot sea can.
No,
Skid steer will not move a 20-foot sea can.
Right, well, the 20-footer would be raised spot where that's pretty much a straight run down that.
And they do have a wheel kit, and we bought a wheel kit, and that's how we moved the other two.
Okay.
That goes on the back of them. And that's how we moved those other two 20-footers.
So you're asking for 7 maximum, 20-footers?
No, they don't all have to be 20-footers.
Okay, so
Like,
what
I
are you
know
asking for
the
then?
cemetery could probably get by with the 10-footer. I can.
I know Raves
Ray would need-
would need a 20. I know like the junkyard's already got, one already, I think. That's close to the building now. And then
Does
you
the
have,
junkyard have the other one?
yeah, they
That's
got
supposed to be
one,
theirs.
yes. And then, you got the, Parsons area will need one. That's probably a 10-footer.
That's 3 10-footers.
it doesn't sound like you really
And then
know
the-
what you want, yeah.
How wide
Huh?
are they?
Well, I mean, it's kind of, if I'm not working that area, it's kind of hard for me to remember what
Right.
they got. I
Right.
mean,
So I
it's enough
guess
for me to do.
at your
me.
next meeting, come up with a
Right,
number,
yeah,
size and number, size and number.
Okay.
yeah.
Would it be outrageous to think that if they're gonna be out in the woods, that they could be painted to not stand out
Yeah,
drastically?
we-
Oh,
So
yeah,
you
but
wouldn't have a
we
red
put
thing
a-
out there?
I could make something, I mean,
I'm just.
Yes.
yeah, but
We'll make it
with
on the
my
side.
trade, I could make it look like a house, sitting out in the woods.
Take a camouflage.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, yeah,
and that's the whole key, we would make it look like.
yeah, I mean, we're not gonna put stuff out there and let it run, I mean, if it needs painted, it's gonna get painted, it's not gonna look like an eyesore.
So are you gonna buy these things or are you gonna rent them?
We'll have to purchase them.
We'll purchase them.
Dewey, from your side, do you see a safety concern with sea cans, shipping containers sitting out
Kids jumping on them.
from that side, or trying to break in? Is that something that
You ever tried to break in one? They're hard enough to get into when they're open.
Yeah.
My brother has one. It's difficult to get into, but
All you have to do is knock the lock off on them.
not so much, I don't see an issue with the container as far as the police side. Yes, if kids are out there, but they shouldn't be back there. That's an area, it's not really the park area. It's surrounded by it, so you're not gonna end up around there. I would like to know what the fire department would think about it, in case there would be some issue that, you know, as far as getting to it or getting it out of the way if they had to. I don't know what that would be, but,
Yeah.
you know, their thoughts.
Store non-flammable stuff in there.
Well, or if they needed to get an apparatus in and it's sitting in the way of something.
Yeah, so
If they could get to it.
that's where I was talking about is, you know, talking about 7 containers back there. Some of the, if you're trying to get them close to the areas that are established for one of your areas,
Right.
how are you gonna get them in there without taking out more trees or anything like that? Raise, I get, you get them driving
Yeah,
back in
that,
there.
he's gonna,
The
that's
junkyard.
what I'm saying, most of them, that's what
as
we're
well.
trying to
That's,
figure out.
but even the other ones are pretty, I mean, when you
Well, I mean,
walk in there now.
the thing is to get them there, you're gonna utilize your trail that you have set up for the event, so you're gonna have to clear out a nice spot for those to go into. You have to get them off your trail.
Right, but if you walk in, there's plenty of open spots
Okay.
right now. I mean,
Yeah, that was my concern
But
about
yeah,
taking. more
Like the
trees.
brewer's already got a 10-footer, and he uses that as his hillbilly hut. We turned it into a hillbilly house already. And after it's done, he puts everything in it, locks up, and then we bring it up, you know.
Are you gonna put a foundation or gravel or anything underneath them to keep them from sinking and disappearing into the mud?
I would say gravel would be, I mean, if that is okay. If not, you can just, put some kind of dunnage down, just to keep it off the dirt itself. Not a fixed structure, but just to.
Keep it out of the mud, you know. So no electricity to them, right? Just storage.
Well, there'll be electricity in it during the season as you're working out of it, but then it'll be shut
Take
down.
it out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
So it'll be complete power off.
Well, just come up with how many you want, how big ones you want.
You want us to kind of draw up how they're gonna set, so you kind of.
That'd probably be nice to have, yeah.
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 Okay, we'll do that too.
Yeah.
So it gives a
Yeah.
visual.
Huh?
Yeah.
Gives a
Visual, yeah.
Get a visual, sure.
Just take that map and just
Yeah.
Try to go.
put it out there.
We scratched this.
Okay, I guess the first question, do we want to lease the land to the men's club? Do we want to wait till everybody's here to go vote on that, or we want, all three of us here?
Well, I think you gotta wait, I think we gotta have this
Yep.
completed before it's.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go
Right,
with,
okay. Just,
we need a final copy to,
yeah.
Um,
This is the draft.
the other thing is would we have that other section?
Oh, yeah, 3.2?
3.2?
3.2?
Yeah.
How would we word that, Josh?
Well, it depends which choice you want.
Yeah. So, reporting a financial statement every year, I think should be a binding thing, because we require the rec association to provide a financial statement for what they do. So I think that needs to be there no matter what. The lease payment or percentage, I made that recommendation. I would like to see a percentage of the revenues go out in a donation and or the difference paid to the city as a lease payment.
Do both. There's no guarantee there. Maybe you do a minimum rental payment in lieu. For example, if men's club for whatever reason decides not to do Spook Hollow or make its sales out of vending stands or whatever it is they do for revenues. I would think the city would want something fixed. I don't think there's any concern with seeking a financial statement. The question is, how much of revenue do you want or lease payment? Once we get those basic nuts and bolts, coming up with the language for 3.2 won't be too difficult.
Okay.
Right. These are just bullets. So how did you get 46%?
I said 45, but
Okay,
somebody else
45.
put 46.
Yeah.
Because when I was treasurer years ago, we shot for 50%.
Yep.
I understand operation costs went up, so.
You were treasurer, what?
Men's club,
Okay.
Men's
20
club.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the goal.
that was the goal, to pay the city.
No,
No,
donations was 50%.
donations
Oh.
reached 50%.
Okay. To the city or to the whole area?
Within the community. That was the numbers then,
All
Yep.
right, nice to know where you got the number
and
from.
that's where that number came from.
Good.
So,
All right. Well, starting point.
get these updated,
Well, I gotta wait till L3 get here and
make sure that we're good with it, make sure Josh clears it, then what we present it to them,
Yep.
so then they can rebut or whatever, and then at that point it's.
Okay, start. Good?
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it's shut off since we've been here.
That's great.
No.
Open the door.
Something.
Other business pertaining to the city. Entertain a motion.
If no other, I make a motion to enter executive session to discuss personnel and discuss setting the price of real estate. That works out.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Clerk, please call.
Alderman Neuhaus,
Aye.
Alderman Newman,
Aye.
who else do we have? Alderman Bad.
Here, aye, whatever you want.
Yep.
Okay, 7:15. Thanks, folks.
Yep.